Welcome to this tutorial, and today I'm going to show you how to draw this realistic eye using charcoal. So to begin with, I started by sketching out the main shapes from my reference photo. Once you have the main shapes in and you're happy with the proportions, you can go ahead and add in the smaller details. So I'm just adding in all those little details here. It's not too intricate, it's just so I have enough detail to work from once I go in with the shading. So initially I was going to use graphite pencils to do this drawing. As you can see here, that's what I'm using. But I realised I wasn't getting enough darkness from it. As you can see from the reference photos, there's quite a few areas that are really dark and pretty much solid black. So I realised it's going to take me a really long time to get that effect with the graphite pencils. So I'm just going in here with a slightly darker graphite pencil. I think this is like an 8 or a 9B. And I'm still just not getting the depth that I needed. And I would have to do layer and layer and layer. So I had a little rummage around the pencil kits that I have. And I came across some charcoal pencils. So I'm still using the graphite pencil here. So then I found this medium charcoal pencil and I started with that and really liked how dark it was. Then I just grabbed the charcoal that came in a set with that and I just added that on there, and it's super dark, which was exactly what I wanted. I haven't used charcoal since I was probably at school, so I didn't really know what I was doing here. And I'm just using one of these blending stubs, I believe they're called. These are new, I've never used these before either, but they worked really well just to help blend in that charcoal instead of using just my finger. So I'm just adding this into all the areas that were really dark on the reference photo. It's pretty much solid black, and you can see the difference between just a tiny bit of charcoal in comparison to the graphite pencil where I would have had to have done layer and layer and layer. So I was just using the excess of the blending stub to kind of smudge that out. I did attempt to go in again with the pencil just for the lighter areas, but I just realised that the two mediums were not mixing well together at all. And it wasn't blending out very well, so I'm just going in with my putty rubber there just to erase that. And I just pretty much decided to stick with charcoal for this bit. So I'm just using a mixture of my finger and the blending stumps to blend it out. I did find the warmth of my finger did help to blend it out a little bit more, but this can get quite messy. And also the point on the blending stub helps you get a bit more of a defined shape, and you can use the excess to then go into some other areas that you want a bit lighter. So I think I messed this bit up a little bit. I made the lines too harsh and I pressed on too hard with the charcoal, and it wasn't blending out very well at all. I tried my finger and the stump, so what I did was I just got my putty rubber, went over that, tried to get as much off as I could, and then I just used the side of the charcoal and just did some really light sort of circular motions, and that blended in much nicer. So I definitely recommend less is more. Just don't press on too hard at all. You can build it up, but if you go in too hard, it's going to be really difficult to blend that out. So I used the same technique that I just did on the iris of the eye, because I want that quite light. I'm getting the light layer in, and then I'll go back in and darken up some areas for the detail. It is really just a case of building up these dark areas and layers, getting all those shapes in that are the most defined, and then we can go ahead and add some more detail. did go back in with the pencil here, which again was an error. You can see how light it is compared to the charcoal. So I went back in with the charcoal pencil to get some of the sharper details in where the charcoal would have been too big. Like this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing, as I'm going to be doing lots more art videos, so please subscribe if you'd like to. So I forgot that there was a water droplet on the eye on the reference photo, so I just used my putty eraser to take away some of the charcoal to create the highlight for that. And then I'm creating a shadow by going around the charcoal pencil. So I'm just going back into those really dark areas, just building up the layer and blending those out. It is just a case of going back and forth, just building up all of your layers and your light and your dark areas. I then went back in with the charcoal pencil to do some more definition, which would have got a little bit messy with the block of charcoal. So I used the charcoal pencil for this, and I'm just adding in a few of those little details towards the inner corner of the eye. And now I'm just adding on the more detailed lines of the iris. So as you can see in the reference photo here, it's quite detailed. There's lots of little lines, so I'm just doing some faint lines, some bolder lines, and blending those in a little, and then I will go back in with the eraser pencil just to get the highlights as well. So now I'm using the charcoal pencil to do the eyelashes, because again these would be too thin to use the block of charcoal, and just blending in those at where the base of the eyelashes are. And just remember, eyelashes don't all go the same way. They do slightly overlap, don't make them too perfect, and they do have a slight curl at the base of the lash, and the top lashes are always longer than the bottom lashes. Just make sure you have all of your background shading in before you go ahead and add these details, because once you've done these fine lines, if I then wanted to go back in and blend the background, I'm just going to smudge all of those nice crisp lines that I've just created. So you want to leave these detailed bits to the very end, get all your fundamental shading in, and then you can go in with the detail. It can be hard, especially if you're getting a bit bored, but just be patient. It is a process and it will all pay off in the end. So I'm just adding on a little vein that's in the eyeball here. So I didn't press on quite as hard with a pencil because it's quite light. I did mess this up slightly, so I just went in with my eraser and then blended that out. So don't worry if you do make a mistake, that's what the erasers are for, and it is just experimenting and learning. So I'm just using this eraser pencil, which is also new and it's really, really good. There's lots of different ones of these that you can get just to get some really crisp details. This was really, really good for getting all the tiny little highlights. I would definitely recommend getting one of these for your drawing projects. So I'm just going in and adding in all those final little details that really make the drawing more realistic and lifelike. all the little reflections with an eye really make it look real. So I decided this bit wasn't quite dark enough, and I think it was okay to go back in here because it wasn't really near the eyelashes, so I wasn't going to smudge those up too much. So just keep looking at your reference photo and step away from your drawing for a moment maybe, and then come back and you'll just see if there's any little shadows, highlights that you've missed, and just keep going back and forth and adding those in there. Yeah, that is going to conclude the drawing. I was pretty happy with how this turned out overall, considering it is the first time I've used charcoal in many years. It was really fun to do, just a little bit more relaxed, and it was just so fun to just sit and do some drawing. When you finish your drawing, you're going to want to fix it in place. I definitely recommend this for your drawings to stop them smudging, especially with a medium like charcoal that is easily smudged. So I just used this Winsor & Newton fixative spray, give it a good shake, and then hold it at least 30 centimetres away from your drawing, give it a little spritz, and then let it dry. If you don't have this fixative spray, you can also use hairspray. I have used that before, but it can sometimes leave a few marks on your paper. So I definitely recommend getting something to fix it in place. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video, and like I said before, please subscribe if you want to see more drawings from me. Thank you for watching. Bye.